morning, friends. This is Hank, your pajama scholar, with an AGR at 11. I'm going to address a few points of how to win an election, or gain the support of revolutionaries, or stop a civil war. I mean, they're all pretty important issues, I would think. Now, first, I'm going to start with an example because, I'm gonna reach out to somebody that I despise. Now, I'm pretty much an apolitical person, although it's not apolitical in the sense that I am not principled. My politics are my principle, which are principles that were written about in the Enlightenment, principles that are found in a lot of your religious texts, principles that are the words of Jesus Christ, principles of honor, duty, love, charity, respect. So, you can't call me a Republican or a Democrat. Okay. It just can't be done. You can't shoe box a free thinker. But I'm going to select Michael Bloomberg because he's politically incompetent. And I'm even going to point out a couple of issues. First, I'm going to point out a couple of issues that go on and on and on, over and over and over again. These divide and conquer tricks that are used every single time in every single election that lead to nowhere because they have no proper resolution. Mike's slogan is, Michael, get it done. Well, what the fuck does that mean? That's the most vapid platitude I've ever heard. Okay. Now, beyond that, Mike will make sure that women get reproductive rights or whatever. Okay, so here's my thought on this. What you do with your body is your own. But do I support abortion? Absolutely not. You're a murderer. You're a baby killer. Sorry, that's the way it is. Am I going to stop you from doing it? No. But am I going to point out that you're a murdering baby killer? Yes. I will publicly shame you. I will call you what you are, a murderer. Some of us go through great difficulty in maintaining safe sexual practices and abstinence. It's a difficult thing to do, to not just follow your hormones, to fight your own nature and rise above and be loyal to the ones that you love. To degrade yourself into sexual acts just for the sake of sex, and you end up getting pregnant, and then you go and murder your own child over it. That just goes to show you the quality of the person that you are. And you're, in my opinion, a baby killer without moral. For anybody that works very hard to practice safe sexual practice, to be abstinent at times, or to be loyal to your partner, to use birth control, to share the intimate moments with the person that you love and want to develop a stronger relationship with, to create a sacred bond that exists between two bodies in love, that's intimacy. To be prepared to have a child, if that was in the cards for you, because the foundation was there. Now, for me, I chose not to have children. There were already too many children in the world that didn't have proper guidance. And to be frank, to be honest, I don't really have a lot of patience. I needed to devote my life to other things. I'll tell you something else. That from being a man, I can tell you a man's perspective. There is no creature on earth, I don't think, that is stupider or so base and basically incapable of making any kind of decision when you get horny enough. That's just the truth. It is something like it is just laser focused. Now, if a man could be laser focused on other issues, if he could have that type of laser focus on something other than just his own sexual release and gratification, then the world would be a better place. And when a woman tells you no, for whatever reason, despite the fact that you're a dog and you'll beg, if you have that level of self-control and you hold that sexual energy without release, you'll almost feel your guts rearrange, your chakras will rearrange. It's good for you to practice abstinence. It is good for you to overcome that trial of your own base instinct. If you can defeat your hormonal or your base instinct, you're strengthening your spirit a very strong way. And it earns the respect of a woman, because she knows that you're loyal to her and that you love her, and she doesn't have to do anything that she doesn't want to do, and the time will be right at some point. And then as you get older, that gets a little bit of a pass for you. I mean, sometimes women can be sexually insatiable. And you've been working, or maybe you've been drinking too much, or you've got too much stress on your mind, or maybe you just jerked off 50 times already that day. Okay, so you can practice abstinence. And if you're going to engage in sexual intercourse, you need to be prepared. Firstly, to have that loving bond, that human interaction, a process of getting to know each other, and an escalating degree of intimacy, which creates an adventure of exploration where you can see all the fruits and flowers of both love and intimacy, which ultimately creates a stronger bond. Now, a very wise person told me once, an aunt of mine, never get married before you're 30. I would say this is fairly good advice. as a man, I can say that there was really not much in the way of me being mature before I reached the age of 30. I mean, will a man ever be capable of being mature? I doubt it. Not compared to a woman. Now, a lot of women and things are materialistic, but this is not a critique on the sexes. This is a critique on the restoration of the republic. So when I point out that Bloomberg is a baby killer, that he supports infanticide instead of being a man that can speak to principle, he's just going to talk about his ability to say, I can dictate whether or not you can or you cannot do what you want with your body. I'm the man of that power. Vote for me. I'll tell you what you can and can't do with your body. For me, yeah, the choice is yours. But I'm going to call you what you are. And God, I'm not here to judge you. God will be your judge. So when it comes to all these little matters of circumstance and whatever weirdness, what if and this and that, there doesn't need to be that debate. It's the same damn thing we've been hearing every friggin' election cycle forever. And the reason they use it is because it's a politically divisive issue that pisses everybody off and keeps them from being able to critically think. It's an old trick for old fogies that are culturally, even economically, politically disconnected from the will of the people. Okay, Mr. Bloomberg, you're a billionaire. I've got a problem that you can solve, and it will demonstrate how competent you are. Instead of hearing platitude and bullshit, put your money where your mouth is. All right? We've been doing a lot of fracking in this country through shale oil. Creates a byproduct that can be used to make plastic. Now, we all agree there's plastic in everything. We eat half a cup of plastic a year. Microbeads and everything, and from the water to the food to the rain. Plastics everywhere. Why? They don't degrade very easily. So, we have a material that we need to do something with that could be profitable. Very profitable. But it's environmentally unsound. So what are we going to do? I would suggest, if you're a billionaire, I would suspect, or at least hope, that you have inroads into business communities, scientific communities, universities. I expect that you would have access to people of political influence. I would expect that if you're the administrator that you claim to be, that you would be able to find the people that can design the proper waste treatment plant for plastics in an environmentally friendly way. The plastic properly disposed of essentially evaporates back into nothing. Now, there's probably going to be some chemical byproducts, and we can't just have smokestacks shooting them up into the air, polluting the whole place like it's friggin' China or North Korea. But this is America. We have a highly educated population. All those trillions of dollars of student loans, some of them were, squandered with ignorant degrees, but there are other people waiting in the wings. Engineers, physicists, scientists, with nothing to do. So, architects, design a system, then put that plan, and with your money, put your money where your mouth is. You're a friggin' billionaire. Okay, put your money where your mouth is. Don't go out here, put out a bunch of platitudes, and then tax the people for whatever fucking agenda you need to get done. I want to see you do it first. I want to see your balls and your word. And then maybe I might want to pony up a little bit of my coin to further those positive agendas. So get that waste treatment plant of plastics. There might even be some other kind of fucking brilliant idea nobody's even conceived of yet about what to do with this plastic waste byproduct. That could have an awesome and yet new profitable use, but it's just too damn easy to produce cheap plastics and dump them in the ocean because that's short-sighted, quarterly thinking, the same kind of financialization bullshit that chopped up this great country and sold it to China for fucking stock buybacks, and now you don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. You've got a fucking communist rigged market and a bunch of sycophantic fascists that put on nothing but a sideshow to try and keep the American people distracted. And I can guarantee you, we are not distracted. We are quite reserved and patient. We're trying to teach you instead of kicking your ass. If you do not think that you cannot have your ass kicked in America, you are sorely mistaken. There's been 30 years of people that were in high school when I was in high school when 9/11 went down. Where the fuck do you think those people are? Where the fuck do you think all those people are that you're screwing over out of what is clearly a conspiracy, a plot to destroy the middle class? Oh, we're hip to the game. Is it to bring everybody down to a level where they can't resist and they'll accept whatever system that you bring in? Do you believe that you have that much force? Do you believe that the military will back your fucking bullshit for as much as they get pissed on? Keep dreaming. So, show me a model, Bloomberg. Show me something more than bullshit. In Missouri, they call it the show me state. Yeah, show me. And do it on your own dime. Because if you do it on your own dime, then we'll know. And do it with an open ledger. Open source it. Because believe it or not, the American people are very resourceful. You open source the project, you're going to have all kinds of information coming your way. You're going to be gaining support from all over the place, from business, from environmentalists, from researchers. You'll probably even have international support. Building these systems, we'll all be taking a look at it. It'll foster a sense of cooperation, and then you, the man at the top that puts it all together, will come and reflect on it. Will let us know how the project is going, or how far along are we, or what are the challenges that we must address to get this project done. And once we have that model, once we know that it works, then we can start making money hand over fist with the plastics, with that byproduct. Make the best out of a bad situation instead of just fuck it on forever with a short-sighted bullshit. That kind of plastics waste treatment plant, then you can assess the needs of the communities in the United States of where these processing centers can be set up. You're talking about economic revitalization. Technology owes an apology to the environment. People talk about depopulation. Here's the late-breaking news. Populations are declining. In America, we've got a hell of a lot more old people to support than we've got young people to support them. It was quite funny to me the other day because there's a kid that, not really a kid, he's just slightly younger than I am, doing stealth living in a storage center. You know, those places with the roll-up doors or whatever, and he's living basically in a self-storage unit. And I go, but where's your pension? Where's your health care? So when I hear old people bitch about their pensions and their health care, and people in my generation are sleeping in the fucking self-storage units, you can take your pensions and your Social Security and whatever else and stick it right up your ass. Because we don't have it, we're not gonna get it. And the more you squeeze us, the more pissed off we get. Nobody appreciates the elderly more than I do. Because getting old ain't for pussies. But do not piss on your youth. Knock that shit off. Because I think we've really, really shown remarkable restraint. Because in the United States, if shit's gonna kick off, it's gonna kick off in a way that you're not even gonna fucking believe. And so that's why we keep it cool. That's why I'm trying to educate, give you a few ideas. Because the problem with all this institutional brainwash, the problem with this Pravda censorship, the problem with internet censorship and centrally controlled media and institutional indoctrination through schools and universities, you end up with something called groupthink. And not a fucking one of them is capable of creative thought. So that's what happens when you suppress free speech, is you suppress your ability to invent. When you suppress free speech, you take out your ability to address things in a direct fashion. Otherwise, you just end up with everybody lying to each other, jerking each other off all the time until you can't even figure out what the fucking truth is. So you can't act if you don't have a good set of facts. And of course people are going to lie to you. You've got armies of shadows and ghosts. They don't like being spied on. So they're going to create all kinds of poison cheese for the rats to enjoy. So Bloomberg, build me a plastics treatment plant with a model, an open source. Step in from time to time and tell us what the challenges are. Because you're supposed to be the fucking man, are you not? You're supposed to be the man with the big bucks. You're supposed to be the man with the long reach. You're supposed to be the man with the contacts. Put your money where your mouth is, and let's see if you are what you say you are. Instead of just giving us baby killing, you can get it done rhetoric. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't know you. There's not even, like, I know we've got some problems, some issues that we don't even really, it might not be wise to touch on, like third rail type of shit, but I'm giving you stuff here that everybody can agree on. That's the fucking point. Makes it real easy. And that way, if anybody opposes you, you can crucify them politically. Because you've done it. You've done it with your own money. You've done it with your own time. And you've been a success. You've done more than just fucking suck a little graph off of a rigged stock market that balloons forever. You can take that money. I would take that money and burn it. Just to prove to you I don't give a fuck about it. Because money in and of itself is nothing at all. All it is part of the toolbox that we call bribery. I don't like to take bribery out of my toolbox. So use that shit to bribe some people. Bribe, pay, however the fuck you want to look at it, to get something good done. And then the business community will be very pleased, I'm sure, with you for being able to do something with those plastics. And the American people will be very happy with you because you're doing something that's environmentally friendly. You're spreading these recycling centers, not necessarily recycling centers, but plastic treatment centers all over the United States, which provides a lot of jobs, doing something that makes people feel good about themselves. And then from there, guess what you can do with the money from the work that the people do in these treatment plants, the money that they earn there. Because where are you getting the money from? You're getting the money from the profits that's being made from the plastics production by the byproducts that we have from the fracking. Okay? That's where legislation comes in. So you have a balance. And then you end up with a model that's self-sustaining. And then you have money going into local communities. And then that's a tax base that can be drawn on locally for projects like schools, libraries, museums, statues, gardens. Take Richmond as a prime example. One of the biggest companies in the world, Altria, make everything. When you really cornered the market on cigarettes, beer, and cheese, fuck, you're doing pretty good. Well, look what Altria provides for Richmond. Museum of Fine Arts. There's a great set of gardens, Maymont Park. Now, these things can be expanded with great ease given the amount of automation and technology. And then you create a beautiful environment, and if you create a beautiful environment, you have a happy population. If you have a happy population, you have a productive population. Americans are unique in their willingness to work themselves to the bone. But one thing Americans do not appreciate is being cheated. And they'll work themselves to the bone to fuck you up. Americans can be very precise in the way that they decide to fuck you up. Because we're an orderly people. We're an educated people. This is not Calcutta. This is not China. We are a young republic, but we are a strong people. Tulsi Gabbard is fairly weak, but she's got a little bit more of a plan than the rest of these people do. I said very early on that conspiracy theorists would not likely oppose Tulsi Gabbard. Do I believe that she is strong enough to be the leader of the United States? No, I do not believe that. I believe that she is a moral person. I believe that she could represent people in a positive way. I do believe her heart is in the right place, but just because your heart is in the right place does not necessarily make you a good president. You know, if it were an ideal world, Jesus Christ would be the president. We wouldn't have anything to worry about. But we live in an imperfect world, and I understand how things work. I'm an idealist, but I understand pragmatism. But Tulsi has it right when she goes to sue Hillary. She's got the profile. If the Justice Department can't do anything about the multiple levels of not only fraud, treason, murder, they can't figure that out, then they're either ignorant, complicit, which is, it basically degrades them to a banana republic of a criminal cartel. If you have how can you have a high court that's so afraid of a bunch of fucking mobsters? I mean, shit, the FBI took down the American mafia with the RICO acts. As to my estimation, the FBI is no longer just an American institution. It's an international institution, which is probably a good thing. People in the FBI and other things like that should be apolitical. They can have political opinions, but don't fucking politicize everything. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And when you examine the law, first look to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Whatever bullshit that Obama or Northam or whatever else political figure decides to scribble over the sacred document, it boils down to the sacred document. And it's not particularly difficult to understand. Our forefathers wrote opinions about it extensively. We're not ignorant of our own principles. The person that scribbles over it is ignorant of our own principles. And so, I find it to be such a blasphemy, to be such a blatant disregard for America, for our principles, for the Constitution that creates our cultural cohesion, creates our nation. I find it seditious to challenge the Constitution with legislation that is clearly not constitutional. If this was the late 1930s, 1940s, and we were doing battle with the Nazis, somebody like that would probably be arrested and interrogated as a Nazi collaborator. Because it's that friggin' plain. I mean, the fascism is on display, which makes all of our lives very easy, once again, because they put that in ink. They sign their name to it. It becomes a matter of public record. And the records are everywhere. You can sit on whatever board you'd like, belong to whatever club you'd like. I guess that might be one of the benefits of the national security state. Now, wielding the national security state is important because it needs to be a little bit more invisible. And here's one thing that I'm going to tell you that personally I don't like, but it just, well, I'm sorry. It is the way of the world in a pragmatic sense. People are going to do it because they can. People are going to do spying and all sorts of stuff like that because they can. They're technically capable, and if they can, they will. So it is wise to have governmental bodies involved in those same types of things. Because you can't just have private organizations with full control. So the government should be there to provide that counterbalance, security for the citizens, instead of simply these private entities. In the national security state, it would be wise to be a little bit more invisible and not so fucking blatant. The whole thing about being so blatant is just pissing everybody off, because it instills this sense of, you must be afraid. You must fear our power. Our power is so great, we can see everything you ever done. We know everything about you. We know your shopping habits. We know when you want to fucking eat. We know what you ate for breakfast. We know how many times you jerked off. We know who you fucked. Well, let me tell you a little something else too about life. There's not a man on earth that isn't guilty of something. There are people that are more virtuous than others, but everybody has fucked up at some point in time. So you need to have tolerance and forgiveness. And we all damn well know that in the arena of politics, even if you didn't do something wrong, they can make that shit up. But that's that kind of degradation. That's that type of lack of morality that pisses everybody off. Nobody has a problem with security. Nobody has a problem with the military. Nobody has a problem with a virtuous police department. What people get pissed off about is tyranny, corruption, using systems of force to inflict on them what they do not care to participate in, believe in, things that suppress their ability to self-actualize, to be free. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give Rand Paul a model that he can use if he wants more political strength. And it's very simple. For 15 minutes a day, if that much, 10 minutes a day, all you got to do, and this kind of got to, you need to have a little bit of directorship in this. There's a right way of doing this. But basically, to take your little handheld phone or whatever your device is, and as you're walking to the Senate or through your neighborhood or whatever you're doing, wherever you're going, take that 10 minutes. It could be to dinner, to share a piece of your life and what you're doing in a way that is not arrogant but honest, to share your thoughts of the day, things that may be of concern to you, and just walk and just have a natural conversation with your constituents. And put it up there and just have it channel Rand Paul. It doesn't have to be the Ron Paul report that's about an hour long. It's a little bit difficult to manage, as much as I love Ron Paul and his a lot of his political viewpoints I share. I know Rand is a little bit more of a political pragmatist than his father. I know that he does make compromises. I mean, I guess that is the nature of politics, is compromise. Not domination, but compromise. But the first thing to do is find things that we all agree on, which are so numerous, so many. You could have work for at least 1,000 years of the American Republic on shit that we all agree that needs to get done. And it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how to do it. Most people that are out here that are not in politics, including myself, we don't like to sully our hands with that horseshit. We prefer to live our lives in another way. We have no desire to project power over another. We expect our political leaders to be honest and to serve the Republic. And then get the fuck on with your life. Serve to the best of your ability. And then go away. So you have fresh ideas coming in. Try to cling to this power. Yeah, I know you can rig all the elections. We watch you do it all the time. A fucking fourth grader can rig elections. It's pathetic. So why don't you try something a little more difficult? Honest elections. That'll deliver gold like you wouldn't believe. Because what is the best thing about a football game or any game, a competition? It's to see who's the best. It's called meritocracy. The gladiatorial arena. Put them in the pit, let them fight. It'll dig up good ideas, it'll dig up dirt, it'll show everybody who everybody is without having to spy on them and be surreptitious. And then if you find somebody that pulls out something, and attacks a member of their family, or pulls out something from their history, or makes fun of their sexuality, or pulls up something they did in college when they were way too drunk, we know exactly the type of son of a bitch that would use that sort of tactic. And then the eyes of the researchers will turn on you, and they'll find something about you. Because you're the one that did that. You used that force. You were the one that instituted the use of psychological force against another. It's the use of force against another that we absolutely cannot stand. Because it's not necessary in the realm of good ideas. It is not necessary in the realm of philosophy. It is not necessary in the realm of debate. America needs to reclaim the mandate of heaven. The beautiful thing about America is it is a confederation. A national government, as far as like the federal piece, the federal entity, that should be. First of all, they need to get rid of a whole lot of laws. Secondly, they need to bring back the laws that everybody wanted, that they got rid of, because they got bought like a cheap bunch of whores, prostitutes. What do you do with a prostitute? You fuck them. And everybody's waiting for that opportunity. So just repeal the laws that nobody wants. That in and of itself should take up plenty of your time. Bring back the laws that work. I'm sure you could find a trust to bust somewhere if necessary, but if you're doing the right thing, nobody wants to kick your ass. I wouldn't break up the tech monopolies if they weren't so hell-bent on censorship. If you do a good job, nobody wants your ass. Nobody wants to damage you or take your shit. I don't believe that you should tax a billionaire out of existence. You don't create abundance by taking something from someone else. But if somebody has such great wealth and they do nothing with it, they're just a bunch of greedy assholes that can't think about the positive impacts that they can have. It's possible they're not worthy of the wealth that they've maintained, and I'm sure that they can find a way for somebody to come around and take your shit. That'd be the only reason to take anybody's shit. It's because probably a better use for it. Like Bill Gates, for example. Bill Gates, he knows the game. Am I wild about his monopolistic approach to business? Not particularly. Am I particularly pleased with every revision of Windows that needs to come out and be upgraded with all the spyware and bullshit that comes into it as an operating system with all the security flaws, when some great operating systems like Windows 7 could just be maintained instead of having to consistently reinvent the wheel to squeeze a couple more bucks out of it. Not particularly wild about that, but I'm not particularly wild about the company coming in and buying up Linux or other developers, not letting them flourish. Bill Gates plays the game. He plays the game because the government fails to put that check and that counterbalance on that business. Bill Gates, I don't consider to be an immoral man. He plays the game like it's played. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And Bill and Melinda Gates, just from their investments alone, they give away at least a third of what they own. They don't have to, but they do. It's very difficult to manage a charity. It's very difficult to spend money wisely in philanthropy. And he catches shit all the time for it. But I don't see many other billionaires doing anything like that. Despite the levels that we are the levels we are on, we belong to the same club. We share the same birthday. So I don't condemn Bill Gates. He's a man that instead of just wanting to accumulate more, because of the conditions that were set up, he's given away as much as he can, as fast as he can. Which is far better than Bloomberg. Far better than Warren Buffett, the investor, so to speak. Investing in what? I remember all the corporate raiders of the 90s. I remember them chopping that shit up. I know who they are. I hang out with some of the motherfuckers. They're godless people. I like them because they're clever. They're charming. They're good at what they do, but they applied their talents, in my opinion, in the wrong way. because they were thinking short term. So you want to restore the Republic? You want to make some money? You want to keep your money? You want to stop people from putting their hands in your pockets? You got to put your hands in your own pockets. Put your hands in your own pockets and demonstrate. Ductus exempla. Now, I'm sure there's more to say on the point, but I think I've given you enough, at least, to think about. It's been Hank, your pajama scholar, with an AGR at 11. Be well.